Hi guys, this is Sean out at the farm, and today we are going to be making worm chow, and we have a smaller size commercial system out here. The bins are about 10 feet long and 4 feet wide, and you get about 1,200 pounds of material out of here. So this mixture is not for home use, but you get an idea of some of the things that we use and why we use it. Okay, I'm going to go over the ingredients that we have used, and we've added and taken away things over the years, but this is what works best. We have a base of masa. Now the masa that you get, make sure it's the white masa and not the yellow masa, because the white masa is organic and the yellow masa has GMO stuff in it, and you will not be able to sell organic castings anymore if you have yellow cornmeal. This is unrefined cornmeal that we use here. We use a little bit of worm chow, which has all of the vitamins that the worms need, because unlike what a lot of people think, you just don't put worms in the ground and they grow. They need things to grow. And we also add chicken crumbles for extra protein, so they will reproduce quicker and have more babies. And of course, you use the compost here that we have gotten, old vegetables and things. And some things you want to stay away from is don't put too much citrus in there if you can, because the baby worms won't develop as well, and you'll have less of them because the citric acid will burn them. We also use azomite for the trace elements. It's rock dust that comes from out in Colorado, and it has all your trace elements in it, and you get a better quality castings after it goes through the earthworm and breaks down. All right, what we start off with is our base with our worm chow, and the base is masa. Put enough in here. I kind of do it by enough in here to cover the bottom a little bit, you know, something like that, nothing fancy. Then the next step is you put a cup of azomite in. You put a cup of worm chow in. And you put a cup of chicken crumbles in. You can get these at the feed store. And don't worry about if you see little bugs in there, that's not going to hurt a thing, because that'll be just fine. They can live in there with the worms. It won't hurt them at all. Then you take the knife and you cut up the vegetables. Put them in there, just like so. Just get them in smaller pieces, you know, just like this. Watch your fingers, of course. Just cut it up, get it in there. You can also use a food processor on this and make a little slurry out of it too if you want. You know, people do it different ways. You kind of get the idea. Just make it soft enough so it mixes up real good. You get a diversity of vegetables, you'll get a diversity of vitamins and also trace elements and minerals that your worm chow does not have. Now, what you do is you add enough water, but not too much. You make it kind of like drywall compound, you know, you kind of add a little water like this. Yeah. Make sure you get it all in there. Mix it around real good. After you get enough water in there, I'm going to show you how that works. See the dry spots coming out in it. And make sure you hit those as best you can. Like I say, you don't want to put too much water in there. You want it to kind of look like drywall compound. And what I used to mix it with, this is a little bit bigger operation, is a tile drill with a tile bit on there, a tile mixer. And you just mix it. Don't have to mix it real fast. And you notice as you mix it, you see the dry spots coming out in it. And as the dry spots come out, you add your water, like so.
Maybe spray.
Now you want to use a jet, because the reason why you use a jet, it gets more penetration, and you get down there and you get all your dry spots. You don't want to use a spray, because it'll only get the top and it won't get down there where it needs to be. A lot of times we also add coffee grounds, but we don't have any at the moment, but we add them in here as well. It stimulates the worms to eat. Now, see, mix it again. Like I say, not real fast. You see it turning into that drywall mix kind of stuff like I was talking about. Add a little bit more water and it'll be ready to go. Add a little bit of water like that. Mix it around one turn at a time. Got the consistency that you're looking for. Like I said, kind of like drywall compound. Just like that. And that is ready to go. You have your food mixed. And I'll let you know the next step. What we use for the next step to spread the food in the bins is we use a green scoop, just like this, and a big spoon, just like this. Make sure it's strong enough spoon, unlike this one. You want to get a strong enough spoon that it won't bend when it shovels it out. So you grab these two things and the wheelbarrow and you're ready to go. So we're going to go over to the bin and we'll get ready with the next step. Okay guys, we're out at the worm bins and we're getting ready to spread the worm food. First thing you do is you take the cardboard off. And if you notice, I got walkways in between them, so I can walk between the bins. In bigger operations, it's good to have that. And then you just take your worm food that you mixed up earlier. And you make it a little about a 2-foot section going right down the center. The reason why you feed the worms in the center and not all over the place is when they come to get the food, they will work the entire bin that way. And it will also, if you cover the entire bin with food, they have no place to get away from the amino acids that they create when they eat. So that's basically how you do the bin. We do with this one, but we've got 3 more operating right now, but that's basically how it works.
Okay.
The final step is when you get done feeding the worms. As you can see, the food's down. You want to make sure you water it down real good so it's wet enough so that the worms can eat it. So you work your way down the bin just like this, and this is what your walkways work good for too. You don't have to get in the bin to get all nasty. And you do it like that. And you pull your cardboard from the bin behind you. You put it on like this. just like this. And then you want to make sure you wet your cardboard down, like this. And that is how you feed worms in a commercial bin.